Welcome back to Utah's Fly Corner. On this video I'm going to show you how to tie Al's Trico, and then I'm going to show you how to turn Al's Trico into the AD spinner, which is a fly that I came up with. I simply bastardized the Al's Trico and one of Davey McField's spinners, and I'll show you that. But first I'm going to do Al's Trico. The hook I'm using is a Dotch 1100, size 24. This fly was originally tied by Mr. Al Miller, developed by Mr. Al Miller, late Al Miller. He's a phenomenal fly fisherman. Fished a little Lehigh out in Pennsylvania. It's a limestone stream. Was a true master of that stream, and it was a great man. But this is his fly, Al Miller, thus the Al's Trico. This fly works on the most pickiest trout. It's a very effective pattern. I'm going to start the thread Uni 8/0 black right in the middle of the hook. I'm going to wind it back. I'm going to go past the barb by about 2 turns. Bring it back up 3 turns. Snip that thread off there. Now I'm going to tie in the hackle. With Al's Trico, with any hackle wing spinners, your hackle should always be bigger than the hackle that's recommended for the hook size. This is size 24, so I'm going to use a size 20 hackle. The original Al's Trico called for Grizzly hackle, so that's what I'm going to be using, is Grizzly. Now Doug Swisher and Carl Richards in Selective Trout said that they found that dun colored spinner wings seem to work better than white colored spinner wings. I agree with that. And catch the hackle in. Now what I did was I pulled the fibers back for a portion in the beginning, then I trimmed them off with the scissors. I didn't snip them off. Leaves you nice barbules to catch it in. See, I'm pulling on that and it can't go nowhere. Catch it in, tie it down nice and tight. Now we're ready to dub the thorax. I'm going to cover that up. I'm going to bring it back again. Don't worry, this baby will still float. Now we're going to dub ever so little. Don't want hardly any dubbing here at all. You gotta remember, it's a size 24. It's a Trico. Tricos are very small. They do have some Mondo thoraxes on them though. They're almost all thorax and nothing else. I just want a little bit more. Now when I dub, I make sure it's nice and tight, but the reason I brought it back again was I do not like to slide the dubbing up. Sliding the dubbing up loosens the dubbing. That's all fine and dandy. If you're tying a nymph, you want loose dubbing, that's fantastic to do. But dry fly, we want to keep that nice and tight. And obviously, you can't dub right next to the hook without twisting the hook along with it. So I dub, I leave myself some thread room there, so I can dub, so I have room to dub, but also this thread will be enough wraps to get me back to where I want to start. This is something that you got to figure out. You just kind of learn it, how much thread it takes to wrap back before you hit your dubbing, and that's about what we need. So I'm going to dub and wrap back. You can see my dubbing starts. Let's see where I'm at with my hackle. Just going to dub over myself and back down. I'm going to take 3 turns on the shank, 3 turns back up. It's going to cause us to get a nice taper. Now the hackle, We don't want a lot. I'm using a whiting saddle hackle here. We're going to be palmering, but we don't want a lot of turns. Now with the whiting, if you use whiting, you know that it has a superior amount of hackle barbs on the stem, on the actual quill of the feather, than pretty much any other hackle company I've ever used. I mean, you only need with these feathers, one turn of a whiting feather is equal to two or three turns, hell, even 4 or 5 with those cheaper companies. But we're going to catch it in, tie it down. We're going to snip her off, lift her up, snip her real close. I'm going to wrap it forward. Take a look at that. So fine and dandy. Make sure that hackle is really tied in. I'm going to bring her back. I'm going to stop before I get to the hook eye. I'm going to go into my whip finish. You got to remember, this is the tail of the fly, where the head of it is, where the hook eye is rather. So you do not want a bulky spot there. You want it well proportioned all the way down. Snip your thread. Now that's Al's Trico. Al Miller liked to fish them fully hackled. He said the fish didn't care. They take them anyway. He was absolutely right. Fish will eat this fly during a spinner fall, no doubt about it. It's a deadly fly. Floats great. Doesn't really matter which way it lands because it all looks the same. It's tied in the round. Now I'm not one for fishing fully hackled flies. I feel that they don't work nearly as well as a fly that presents the body flush in the film. So now we're going to turn it into an AD spinner. I explained the AD spinner before, but here we go. We're going to trim the hackle. We're going to lift these guys up. We're going to trim right underneath, real nice and close. Just going to spin the hook around here, make sure I got everybody. I don't like this one guy, he's going to go. Let's see what we got. It's looking good. And now I'm going to take Loon UV clear fly finish, and I'm going to take the little nifty little needle that comes with it. I'm going to get just a tiny little ball of it, teensy tiny bead. That's way too much. No big deal. Just give the bottle a little squeeze and it'll suck it right back in. That's about good. Now real carefully, that's a little too much still. Take it off my finger. Stuff's no big deal to get on you. But I'm gonna just touch that on. Just a nice light coating of that UV finish right on that body. Turn her, make sure I got her. Got her nice and covered. Put my needle away here. Grab my torch. Torch is your light. Now before I hit the torch, I like to stroke the fibers back. Stroke them up. And then right as I hit the torch, I like to pull these guys up. Push them in as the torch starts to set. stuff set. Hard as a rock. Seen one fiber I missed. It's pointing straight down. See if I can't get him. Sounds like I got him. Looks like we got him. Now this is the AD spinner. This fly with the bug bond on there, I mean the UV clear fly finish on there, will sit perfectly. It'll land perfectly 99.9% of the time. Because what happened is just trimming some straight fibers out of the way. What happened is the weight of the UV resin will cause it to make the bottom of the hook heavy, so when it falls it'll land just like that, and the fish get a nice view of that. I've been fishing this fly for a couple seasons of Tricos, and it's been a very great producer for me, especially with really picky trout. Tie these up, get them in your Trico arsenal. Absolutely great. The Loon clear fly finish. Get this huge bottle, 59 ounces, $22. That's darn cheap for UV finish. I do a full review of it on my blog. Check me out, Johnny Utah. Check me out on my blog, Utah's Fly Corner at blogspot.com. Thanks for watching.